It's Tuesday, March 15. Coming up live on The View. They're the hottest topics on TV. From what the co-host thought of the Bachelor finale, to which comedian was fired for his shocking jokes about the disaster in Japan, and the mom who's suing her child's preschool claiming they ruined her chances of getting into an Ivy League college. Plus, private practice star Taye is revealing how he handled being a target for neighborhood bullies as a child. And has the real deal behind rumors one of his co-stars is leaving the show. And Sharon's co-hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire all week long. And a contestant she fell in love with is here with her husband and adopted family of 5 to share how much they need the money. And getting a surprise that will floor the whole family. All that, hot topics and more, coming up live on The View.
Welcome to The View. I just have to say, Sherry, did you see my necklace?
I love it. What does it say?
It says, I love whoopee.
I love whoopee. Yay!
Given to me by those wonderful little kids, and they helped me pick out my shoes for the day. You'll see, these little kids are wonderful, and
later
Sherry's instrumental on bringing them on, and it's kind of fantastic. So I just wanted to thank you, because girl always likes to get some new jewelry.
That's right.
Now, to the serious stuff. You know, the very real threat of nuclear catastrophe in Japan is the biggest story in the headlines. There were just 2 more major aftershocks right before we came on air, and hundreds of reporters are in Japan covering this. But should they still be there? I mean, is reporting the story worth risking your life at this point? Because they're...
You mean the report? Yeah, I know. That's dangerous stuff. I can never understand why they're so driven to be right in the middle of everything, but somebody has to do that.
Right.
And I admire them for doing it. I mean, you always see Christiane Amanpour on ABC go right in the middle of the...
But this is kind of slightly different. This is like... I don't know, radiation.
And this is also stuff that this is also not only could it affect the actual reporter, you're talking about it could affect his family. If he goes and his wife gets pregnant, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you don't know about.
This is the ABC reporter, I just blanked on his name. He was just there. He's, oh gosh, I'll think of him. Local reporter for MJ Burkett,
yes.
Okay, he was there, and he said that he was actually on his own, by his own judgment, leaving. But he had been there reporting on it quite accurately because he felt as though some of the information that was coming out of the government there may not be accurate indeed. And so I think in a way we're thankful to have real face-to-face reporting information coming to us, but it does come with the cost.
It's price.
It's a big price. And you know, we all have questions about how bad this nuclear disaster can get and how it will impact the U.S., if at all. So in our audience right now is Chief Health and Medical Editor of ABC News and former Head of Emergency Response for the CDC, Dr. Richard Besser. Dr. Besser. So, you know, should we be worried? I mean, we saw the tsunami wave actually get to the west coast of the United States. Should we be concerned that if there is a catastrophe, a nuclear catastrophe, that this is going to somehow come, the wave is going to come this direction?
To the west coast.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I think this is an opportunity for people to really pay attention and think about how prepared am I for a disaster? I think the chances of radiation coming from Japan to the West Coast is very remote with what's been released right now. But there's a lot of concern that these reactors are very unstable. And if there's a major release, well, that will go in the air and they'll follow where that goes. But this is an opportunity. Fewer than 10% of people in the U.S. have an emergency preparedness kit. It's so easy to get. It's so easy to prepare to make sure that if there were a disaster in your area, you were ready and you could respond.
How do you prepare yourself against radiation?
Well, there are things that you can do about radiation as well. First is you pay attention. You know, talking about the reporters who are there. They all have badges that are monitoring radiation. And ABC, we're pulling our reporters back to a much safer distance because of the threat of this reactor. But people are putting themselves at risk. In terms of radiation, if you are exposed to radiation, you want to listen carefully about what to do. External radiation that gets on your clothes, it's very simple to remove. Right. You're changing your clothes, you're showering, you're removing that.
What about your face and your hands?
You know,
breathing it.
If you're in an area where there's been a release, if you do a thorough soap and water shower and a shampoo, 95% of the radiation on the outside is removed. You're right about what comes into you. And so you want to pay attention so that if there is a risk and people say, time to move back from where you are, you can do that. That's what they did in Japan with the initial release. 170,000 people. They quickly moved them back before there was the danger to them.
We're going to actually put some of this information on our website, Bill. Is that cool? And then you can link to all this information. But I also want to know, if you are here in the United States, and aside from any sort of effects coming from Japan here, if you're living by a power plant, or are there precautions that we need to take, and are there questions that parents
you sell your house?
Right. I mean, in terms of schools being near these locations, are there dangers that we should be thinking about here?
Well, you know, communities around power plants have to take this seriously in a different way. Many schools, Toms River, New Jersey, they have a power plant. In the schools there, they have iodine. And the reason they have that is one of the things that's released early from a reactor is radioactive iodine, and that can cause cancer. Right. Children are at the greatest risk. You want to give that dose within the first 2 to 6 hours. So schools have it there. In case there's a release, they will give it to them. That's something to think about in those areas. You want to know your evacuation route. So if you live near one of those plants and they say, we're concerned there's going to be a problem with this plant, or there's been a release, you know where to go.
If you're pregnant, if you're pregnant, do you have any worries about the unborn baby?
You do.
I mean, you have
pregnant women? Yeah, pregnant women are another group where iodine you want to take quickly because it will protect the developing baby. That's one of the groups that's at an increased risk.
We're only 35 miles from Indian Point, right here where we're speaking, where there's an online reactor. What's the difference? What is the China syndrome? I don't know exactly what that means right now.
Yeah, you know, it's different than when that movie came out. When you're talking about the China syndrome and meltdown of radioactive material, the new reactors are designed, they've never been tested for this, but they're designed to be able to contain that material. And if that happens, you should not see a big release. What they're concerned about in Japan is, will that steel shell hold and contain that radiation? And, you know, initially it was looking like it was. Now with, you know, aftershocks that are the equivalent of a massive earthquake, will there be damage?
Is it true that we're on hold right now? There were, what, 33 new plants about to be implemented here in strategies. Are those all on hold right now with the government?
Well, I expect that what's going on in Japan is going to open it for a whole new discussion. I expect that Congress will look at that and people will consider, you know, do we want to go that route? Do we want to invest more in things like solar and other green forms?
That would be nice.
What do we want to do here?
Well, Dr. B,
thank you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
I love the view.
Thank you. Now, listen, comedian Gilbert Gottfried was fired as the voice of Aflac, the mascot of Aflac, for tweeting jokes about the tsunami in Japan. Here's one, but I need you people who are watching this to understand this is not my joke. I am not telling the joke, but I need to tell you what one of the things that was said so you understand why Aflac did what they did. So again, not mine. Do not send emails, ugly letters. This is not mine.
Do you have to read it? You feel you have to read it? Maybe
I don't think you'll understand unless you know.
I
think you need to.
You have to read it.
You got to read it.
I just broke up with my girlfriend, but as the Japanese say, there'll be another one floating by any minute now.
Okay, that was just one of them. He said, like, it's like, you know, I got on my thing 7 of these, and I think, you know, comics who hide behind, you knew who I was when you hired me, I think that's just an excuse and a crutch, and it's getting tired. I think it's so...
Well, it is true that they knew what he was like.
No, I don't think any company, when you hire somebody, when a natural disaster strikes and lives are lost...
Have you ever seen his act? He's always inappropriate. That's his
act. Inappropriate is one thing, but I'm going, when you got lives lost and people are trying to find out if they got their children, to make jokes like this, it's inappropriate. And I don't think a company... I think a company goes by just a... You know, the morality of it. You're not gonna do that.
The interesting thing here
that the person that you know is not going to be inappropriate in this type of situation.
But let's be practical.
But again,
Aflac does 75% of its business in Japan. You do the math. So let's consider your market
here. His deals are off with Mitsubishi, Nintendo, Toyota, and Honda also.
Aside from it being like ethically or morally right or wrong, practically this is where his business is.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Do you think that if it wasn't that fact was not true, that he would have been fired?
Yes.
I would say that, but it would be a one-dimensional argument, then, so to speak, right?
But where does that phrase "do unto others as you would have them do unto you"? If it was your child, Gilbert, and you couldn't find your kid, how do you think you'd feel if somebody made jokes about it?
I think that one of the things that people always forget is that comics have never been appropriate. They've never been appropriate. That's the whole idea. And what you have to understand, and I get it. I got fired for supposedly making a joke, but I was making a joke about the president, supposedly. Okay? And they fired me and yanked my show off the air.
Right. You know,
so you do know who the person is.
That is a comic's job to talk about what's on people's minds and what they're not saying.
And that is what he said. And you don't necessarily have to like what he's done, but know that this is
there are consequences.
That's not what we're talking about.
No, I'm saying I know comics because I'm a comic, and I know that's what comics do, and comics are inappropriate. I think there's a sense of you know, when you stand there and you go, as a human being, look at what other people are going through. Is it appropriate?
There are not very many human beings that are comics.
You know what? I don't agree. I am a comic,
and I think... Sherry, it was a joke for me to get out to go to the next thing. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
The wait is over. Billy Ray Cyrus is finally sitting down with the co-host this Friday and taking the stage to perform his latest hit.
On the disaster in Japan, because Glenn Beck says that the disaster in Japan could be a message from God, and that we're not doing the right things, and advises us all to start following the 10 Commandments.
What is that? Which commandment does he want us to follow?
I mean, 10 is like, do not kill.
Thou shalt not build reactors near the water?
Is that that would have to be an amendment.
He's talking about the 10.
Is he talking about us as human beings on the planet, or is he just talking about Japanese people? Who is he talking about?
I think he's talking about everybody.
Because I think he's talking about, like, there's a huge, in Christianity, the most studied thing is end of time or end of days in Revelation, right?
What if you're Jewish?
This is aside. Glenn Beck is coming from his faith, right?
So is he a Catholic?
It's a very it's a very seriously studied topic, and I think given the tsunamis, the earthquake, etc., it's come up even more.
Actually, he's a Mormon. Yeah, he's Mormon.
Really?
But
so
there's no explanation.
Over the centuries and centuries and centuries and billions of years that the Earth has been in existence, billions of years.
Yes.
There have been earthquakes. Somebody told us yesterday there are earthquakes every 7 days or something under the ocean. It's a constant. The Earth is constantly belching up new volcanoes. All that stuff.
Very interesting?
Is it constant? I mean, are the Neanderthals responsible for their demise? Did they commit a sin? They're gone.
Clearly they did.
The dinosaurs
because they're gone.
The Earth has gone through many changes.
The dinosaur pooed in the wrong place, and God said, "Out."
Yeah, whatever your faith is, though, I think that people do sort of...
They look for things underneath.
You're too ugly. You're so ugly.
It's very interesting.
The Book of Mormon, but I'm sure that his belief, he really goes back to that and says, okay, if there was a time of devastation brought by God, maybe he believes that this is a message from him. I mean, people think there are messages from God that are not as great as
they're usually in mental hospitals, those people.
Right.
But it's very
voices. Wait a minute, are you calling anyone...
Voices.
Wait, no, not voices. Don't tell me. When I think about and I pray and I have my faith, do you think anyone who has a relationship with God is nuts?
No, are you hearing God speak to you?
In which way? By voice?
Yeah.
In a language, be it English or Japanese?
Yeah,
I believe that God speaks to all of us in ways.
I agree with you. And it's really
Sometimes
interesting.
I don't listen.
It's really interesting with the spiritual.
What can I say to that?
But with the spiritual aspect of it, I can't speak for the Mormons.
I talk to God maybe, but he's not talking to me.
As a Christian,
I'm listening, Sharon.
But it's just very No, it's okay. The spiritual aspect. As a Christian, we look at things spiritually, and I'm very hesitant to speak for God, to say He is punishing people. But we do look at things that happen, these disasters, and we look at, is is Jesus coming? Is it closer? Because in the Bible it talks about the signs of the times. But to say God is punishing people, I'm not going to say that.
I mean, because you know, Glenn, your message is off message if we're talking about Christianity or what God expects of people. He doesn't expect this kind of thing. He doesn't expect anyone to sort of say, you know, you're an idiot because you don't believe, or you're this or you're that. So, you know, if this is because we're misbehaving and God is pissed, I would check the mirror, Glenn.
Yeah, well, how about thou shalt not?
I think he did include himself in that, but I also...
Maybe it's not in here.
How about thou shalt not advance your career on the back of the Japanese people right now? How about that?
Right. And I think it's a challenging thing. I mean, either with death, anytime there's something devastating, I think there's a tendency to blame it on God. And I don't think God would ever want this to
Or blame
happen.
it on someone else.
Evil and sin in the
Once
world.
it was all the black people didn't do right in New Orleans because and so they got cursed. And then gay folks.
Pat Robertson blamed that on homosexuality.
Katrina.
That's his bargain, Pat Robertson.
But my point is a lot of folks.
Yes, Pat Robertson is alive and well.
Okay, I'm gonna be God and smite y'all. Okay, because we have to move on. You know, last night was the finale of the damn Bachelor. Now, Elizabeth, was it everything you'd been dreaming of?
Now, what Glenn Beck should have said is that this is the reason all this is happening. The Bachelor finale was also a disaster. Brad had to choose between Chantal and Emily, and I think there are like 11 million people out there watch with me, so don't pretend like I'm alone in this. Before the final rose ceremony, and you all know what that is, where Brad had to make his choice.
The roast ceremony?
Final rose
He
ceremony.
gives a rose.
He had to, the questions got tough. Take a look.
I want you to give me the chance, and I want her to give me the chance to be an actual father.
Like, what do you think that means?
I'm ready.
Yeah?
I am. Yeah, why are you putting me on the spot here?
I'm not. I just...
Yeah, you are.
No, I want to make sure that there are, like, no surprises.
I am seriously having a hard time breathing right now. I really am. Two things that I could have said to Emily tonight. One is I love you, and one is that I want to be the best father that I can be. I said one of them, and I was shot out of the water. I was slapped in the face.
He can't breathe. Do you think maybe he has asthma?
This is a question I have for you. You bet. He said I could have said two, because for me, you know, I'm against this. I think when you have a child, it's all fun and games when you're a single woman and you're vying for this man's love and attention. But when you got a child, the games are over. You don't jump through hoops. He's got to jump through hoops for you, because you got a kid. You're protecting the most precious thing in your life. So out of the two things that he said, was one of them, I want to be the best father I can be to your child. Did he say that?
Does he mean it? Does he mean it?
At some point, I think he did later on, not in that moment, but he got a little, he did in the moment get a little defensive, because I think he thought he was trying to convey it. He ends up proposing to Emily, who we saw right there, in a most like wonderfully loving moment, happily ever after, or so it seems, until after the rose ceremony.
And where is this relationship, and how do you feel about this man?
It's certainly not all roses.
Right.
I love him with every part of who I am, but could I move to Austin today and you know, no.
You are not ready to get married right now. You are ready to put this off a little bit.
Right now, in this instance, I love you, but no.
So I think that was a smart thing. I think that was a smart thing on her, because she's got to figure out when the cameras and lights are off. I got to see how you are with my daughter.
Right, why not be in love in front of 11 million people? There's nothing wrong with that.
She said, "I love you, but."
Yes, but
For that 5-year-old.
It sounds like she's making the wise choice and taking
making
some
a good
time,
choice.
you
As
know?
a wow.
It's important things.
I don't know.
We wish them
this show.
well.
What's the time period for falling in
We
love?
wish them the best.
I don't even know what to say after all that. So I'm going to say nothing, but we'll be right back. So, Sherry, very quickly, you're making room for Sal in your house. That's the man you're going to marry, right?
That's the man I'm going to marry, and we're getting married in August, and I'm trying to avoid our argument happening after August, so I'm clearing out space for him. But I have a whole closet full where I keep my hair, and I had to take it out. Here's the picture of me trying. This is all my hair. They look like little puppy dogs about to get up and go away.
What did you do with that?
It's like hundreds of pieces of hair. What am I going to do? I don't know. I shoved it in by my shoes.
Do you use all those hair pieces?
Yeah, I use them all.
So you're giving him a little bit of closet space in your house?
Yeah, I kept it bigger when I gave him.
Wow. Where's the equality in all that?
There is none.
I don't think it's ever equality. I think on Wednesday it might be more me, less him. On Tuesday it might be more
less
him.
him in the house.
Yeah, well, he knows because he saw my shoes. He saw all my clothes.
Don't have as much stuff.
I don't think men ever have as much
This
stuff.
man is moving from across the country.
I'll tell you why they
Might
don't
have a couple. Look, I'm not married, so I'm just saying.
They don't have as much stuff as us because we don't let them. If we gave them the space, they would have the amount of stuff.
This is not a teeny little dude.
Yeah, he's 6'6".
This is a big man.
I told him he couldn't bring all that stuff to New York. I told him he had to keep them. You know.
Well, Steve hasn't bought a
He
pair of
didn't ask
shoes
for
in
the
10
ring back.
years. I say to him, let's buy some shoes. I have a pair of shoes, he says. So they don't buy a lot of stuff, man. Mine doesn't.
Because they have nowhere to put it because
Okay,
we have
that's
all the
fine.
space.
Listen, what about this? A New York City mom is suing her 4-year-old daughter's preschool, claiming it didn't prepare her for competitive public and private grammar school entrance tests. The suit claims, quote, a toddler who takes the wrong first step could ultimately trip up chances for acceptance into an Ivy League college or earning a higher income.
Wow.
This child is what, 4?
4. Now, she enrolled, I believe she enrolled her child into the school when she was 2, and they told her that they would equip her to be able to take the standardized test that you have to take. They would prep her
To get into,
you know, and to get into a better another
the next level.
The next level of school.
Instead of calculus and trigonometry, they were teaching blocks and shapes.
Blocks and colors and shapes.
Did she forget that that's what, you know, whatever the school says they're going to do is fine. It's ultimately up to the 2-year-old what they want to do. You know, most 2-year-olds don't give a damn.
Well, at 4, she says they put the 4-year-old in with a 2-year-old, and that's what they were learning. But maybe they thought that's what the 4-year-old could do.
She's spending $19,000 a year on her child's education.
And she wants some money back.
Well, I would say let the kid have some preschool days, because she's going to have your behind up in the psychiatrist's office if you're not careful. Now, listen, John Bon Jovi claims that Steve Jobs is personally responsible for killing music business by creating iTunes, because kids today miss the whole experience of going to the record store and getting lost in the album. And gee, I get it. I mean, I miss brick and mortar stores, going in and going through and just seeing those albums.
I got to go on the other side of with Apple, because I know I got a lot of records in my collection back home, and I would be so mad because I'd like the one song, and I go and it was 12 songs. The other songs were all crap. I think it just, you know, and this is what I like about Apple and iTunes. It allows you to pick the songs you like. So I think the artists raise up the standards and make some really good songs so that you want to get the entire album.
Not to mention, you could share with your friends. There are all these online communities where you can say, I like this song.
This is where you get in trouble. It's the experience. You know, it's the difference between sitting in your house and buying 6 different songs from 6 different artists, as opposed to getting the experience, hearing the album, and making a decision whether you like the second song or the 4th song or the 5th song. No,
with
because
the Kindle,
if you don't
like
hear,
with the reader, it's the same thing that's happening.
If you don't hear a full album, sometimes you miss out on stuff. I think that's what he was saying.
You get the preview of that there's only a couple of songs that unless it's Fleetwood Mac, which has the Rumors album, which is a perfect album.
It is a great album.
Or, you know, some
Graceland.
Yeah, there's not that many that are perfect albums.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know now because no one listens to them all.
But you can preview the entire...
You can preview it. It's not the same. Now, listen, talk about not the same. A snake that was being used in a photo shoot bit the breast of the model who was holding it. Yes. And you know what happened? The snake died of silicone poisoning. It's such... You think I'm kidding? No, don't. They're living. Wait. It's an absolutely true story. The silicone killed the snake, so you know.
It'll kill you. You can't eat silicone.
No, fake boobs. Just know, a fake chest. If a snake bites you behind, Peter's coming after you. We will be right back with the fantabulous Taye Diggs.
Taye Diggs' character, Dr. Sam Bennett, reunited in a hot, sloppy kiss, so hot, kiss with his ex-wife. And on this week's episode, things get awkward. Take a look.
Things are a little tense after our night on the deck.
It was just felt comfortable and familiar, and we were just nostalgic. And that's okay.
Don't patronize me, Naomi. Okay, I'm not chasing after you. I just want to know if you think it was something more than nostalgia.
Please welcome back Taye Diggs. Taye, I gotta ask you, because Whoopi says men should have an equal amount of closet. I'm giving my fiance not an equal amount. You and Adina have been married for a while.
Yes.
She has more closet space than you, right?
I have to say, in our situation, we have equal closet space.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because they're equal partners.
That's
right.
You got a lot of shoes. Did you have to fight for the equal amount, or did she just give it to you?
She has to fight.
Oh, really? Because he's got more stuff.
I got a lot of shoes.
But you're a performer. You're an actor.
Yeah, but that doesn't act in the closet.
No, but actors always have more clothes, more shoes.
I'm very metrosexual.
Okay, so we got to recap, because I couldn't even read the prompter, because the scene is always so hot between you and Addison, who's played by Kate Walsh. So now your ex-wife is Audra McDonald. She's Naomi. You guys were together. You got divorced. You somehow got hooked up with Addison, who is Kate Walsh. You guys don't even practice medicine because you're having sex all the time. You and Addison. Then all of a sudden, Addison's mom, she passes away, so she pulls away a little bit. Then all of a sudden, you're sitting next to your ex-wife, and you guys kiss. I love that. I'm so like, now who is it? Is it going to be? I am so for clip. Naomi or Addison? I mean, because it's always hot when you get back with the wife. Yes. You know, I mean, I don't know about that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I've stopped talking right just about now.
It's Taye Diggs. So who is it? Naomi or Addison?
You asking me or the
I'm
character?
I'm asking you.
You know, I cannot say. I cannot say. They're
both beautiful.
Yes, they are. And I understand, you know, there's a history with Naomi, and there's the newness and an actual love that exists there with Addison. So I gotta play the diplomatic card.
Turn, maybe.
It could.
I want to ask you about another woman. Katie Strickland. She's been on the show a couple times. We love her, but her character this season was intense. Her character was brutally, like, savagely attacked and raped, and the response, she said, was astounding. I mean, the show actually got behind a great campaign publicly, right? So
yes, I was very, and am very proud of the show and the writing, and Katie herself. I thought she did a tremendous job, and I'm very proud.
But it's had a great effect. It sort of went from fiction to really having a public movement in terms of protecting women.
Because, you know, our television show is fun, but when the opportunity comes, when you can kind of represent, you know, such a serious issue, it gives us a lot of pride.
Now what?
I just wanted to ask you, Metro.
I wear scarves.
Yeah. And you write books. Chocolate Me, you wrote this. This is your children's book?
That's just an advanced copy.
Yeah, but still, look at that.
I'm very, talking about pride, when I was a kid, I grew up in a neighborhood where nobody looked like me. So when I got older, I wrote a poem about what it felt like to be different. And I got with my best friend, who's a great illustrator. His name is Shane Evans. and we wrote a children's book about self-esteem. So that comes out in fall.
Where'd you grow up? Where did you...
Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
But when I was young, it was a
white
suburb.
neighborhood?
Yeah, it was one suburb.
I'm so glad. I can't wait to read that.
Oh,
to
I
Jeffrey.
can't wait
It's
either.
wonderful.
That's one of the main reasons
children,
I wrote it.
I was reading that you do a rap of Dr. Seuss to your son, your child. Is it a girl or boy?
It's a boy. His name is Walker.
18 months
Walker
old.
the thing. There he is.
He is too cute.
I mean, it can be, you know, me and Adina. We're a very musical family.
Yes.
So we
Yes, wow.
we sing songs about anything. You know what I mean?
Like what?
I literally, you know, I have the morning shift. I'll get up in the morning and he'll have a poopy diaper, so I'll put him on the table.
Sing us a poopy song.
And a poopy diaper. You got poopy diapers. And I'll bust into a beatbox and he loves it. He loves it.
Is he a musical little man? Like, does he have music in him already?
Right now, he's going through this phase. I hope it's not a phase, but he's dancing his behind off.
Oh, good.
And I love it so much. He's just a happy little boy. I feel very blessed.
See, this is what makes you very sexy, your character and your father who sings. God darn it, this ring just stops me from everything. But can I ask you a favor? You know, in different towns around the country, people spearhead these private practice parties, and they want to see you. Taye Diggs, one of my best friends, Vonda Morris, she is in love with you. She knows what you eat for breakfast. Yeah, your phone. Now, I think she might be a stalker. I'm not sure, but could you look in the camera and just say something real sexy to Vonda Morris?
Hey, Vonda, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you for your support.
Put that in the reel for her birthday.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in the reel. I'm not buying her anything else. Hey, Vonda, baby.
Before we have to go, I know you're actually conquering a fear of yours, which was surprising to me.
Yes. Well,
Tell
being
us.
on a television show, I haven't been able to perform live, and the longer I'm away from the stage, the more petrified I get.
But what about Rent and
I know,
Chicago?
but you know, it's been we're on our 5th season, and that's a while to be away from the stage.
So you have a fear of being on stage?
Now I do, so I wanted to put it out there. I wanted to nip that in the bud. So I'll be performing at the end of April in Miami, like an hour's worth of just music and chat alone.
And you'll be scared, but you'll do it.
Let us know.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Come back on and talk about it. You want to promote that. Thank you, Taye,
smack
for
you
coming
in
back.
the head.
We want to thank Taye Diggs. You can catch Taye on Private Practice Thursday nights at 9 p.m. right here on ABC. We will be right back. Long, I am guest hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and one contestant really touched my heart. Sandy Capello, the mom of an adopted family of 5 kids who was forced to take on a side job to make ends meet after her husband Sam was laid off. Take a look. Winds that blow steadily from east to west and toward the equator are called what? Pilot winds, lead winds, diver winds, or trade winds?
I think I'm going to say D. Final answer.
You are so correct.
Let's see what this is worth.
Sandy and her whole family to join me today. So please welcome Sandy and Sam Capello and their 5 children, Kirby, Percy, Helena, Maya, and Violet. Oh, my goodness. It's so funny. It brings back me. I still want to cry because it was so wonderful having you guys there. Now, I know you guys want to know how much she won, if she won. You're going to have to watch it on Friday. I can't tell you.
I have to tell you, Sherry came here right away, and I remember you telling me and telling everybody else how affected you were and how in love you were with this woman and her family.
Sandy's spirit was the most amazing spirit I've ever met in my life. And you were telling us about your story. So I know that this past year has been really, really challenging for you guys. What's been going on?
Well, we've had a role reversal. I was the stay-at-home mom for 15 years, And now Sam is the stay-at-home dad. Yes. So now he has a new appreciation for what it's like to have 5 kids.
It's like a job swap.
Yes.
Right?
And I'm working, and I'm trying to teach the kids that that's a good thing.
Yes.
That moms work, and it's a really good thing.
Absolutely.
But it's been a tough.
Sure.
It's been a tough switch.
An adjustment for all, I'm
Yeah.
sure. You know, I heard that you call your family a miniature version of the UN.
Definitely.
Kirby here's the oldest. Can you tell us a little bit about your brothers and sisters? Your brothers
Well,
and sisters?
there's a lot to talk about.
We've got time.
I'm sure you can realize with 5, it's very hectic. However, it's worth it all at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you guys are a good guy, Kirby. You really are. Is it true that I heard if you won a certain amount of money, you would have bring another child in? Sam's like,
I said I would have 10,
Wow.
but my husband said he would be in an institution.
I think you're
Gotta
doing
get
good
it.
with your 5. Now, you said being on the show Millionaire, I know it was probably one of the best experiences of my life being with you. Has it changed your life in any kind of way? Or?
Well, you've been an inspiration to me.
Oh, girl.
Because you are so warm and beautiful, and you and I have a lot in common. I mean, besides our obvious resemblance, we have a lot in common. And so I think a lot of women look at all of you on The View and are inspired by all of you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to ask Helena, how proud of you, how proud of your mom are you?
I'm really proud.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. So, Sandy, on the show, you told us what you want to do with the prize money if you won. Let's show a clip.
As I was getting ready for the show, my kids are going, "Are we going to be rich now? Can we go to Disney World?" Okay. And so I'm telling you, we have to go to Disney World. It's going to be so much fun.
Well, you know, gosh, that wasn't part of the prize when you were on Millionaire, but guess what, girl? You're gonna get to go to Disney World. All you and the kids, they are picking up the tab for you to go to Disney World and have so much fun. And I want to tell everybody, hey guys, let's tell them what are you gonna get? Let's see what you're gonna get.
We all know that time with your family is precious. Kids grow up fast, and that's why it's important to make memories. And a Disney vacation is the way to create memories you can hold on to forever. The Capella family will receive a 5-day, 4-night vacation to the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, which includes flights, accommodations, and park tickets, along with a $1,000 Disney gift card. You'll enjoy all that Disney World has to offer, including 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and much, much more. Have fun, because Disney memories are waiting for you.
To the most when you go to Disneyland, kids?
Come on. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Going to the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse?
I like that too.
Anything else you're looking forward to?
Percy, who do you want to meet?
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear. I have a feeling we're gonna find you guys when you're there.
I think you're gonna get to meet Buzz Lightyear. I have to say, Sandy, you inspire us, and I think to so many, because you show what it is to have unconditional love and to sacrifice and to go, I'm just gonna take you in and I love you. So you guys, make sure you watch me guest hosting Millionaire all this week. Check your local listings for times. Don't worry, Meredith is gonna be back on Monday. We'll be right back. We love you.
Remember I showed you my necklace and said someone helped me pick out my shoes? These are the ladies that helped me do that. Now, if you're as lucky as I am, you will have a great day and take a little time to enjoy your view. Bye.